Hello again, everybody. This is technically my second video, but it will probably be the first one that I upload on YouTube. I didn't like my first video. I felt it was too long. I also felt that you guys couldn't see really what I was doing. So I'm going to hold my phone while I mix my epoxy so you can see what I see. And then I have my two coasters over here. They already have had one coat of epoxy on them. They had some spots that I had to sand out so you can see that they're dull. Maybe you can't see that they're dull, but they're dull from being sanded. And then this one has a spot down there that I had to sand. Anyways, I'm going to put a light coat of epoxy on both of those so it'll bring the shine back. I left the backing on one and took the backing off partly on this one, and then realized I needed to fix it because it has missing epoxy on the edge right there, and it had a lot of dust particles. So this is a good way for me to test out how I can sand these to get the dust particles off of them, and then put another coat of epoxy on them to bring the shine back. So because I felt you were too far away last time, I'm gonna hold my camera. Hopefully it won't be too shaky. All right, sorry about that. I got a phone call. Don't know who it was. All right, so I put these on my silicone mat so I can see the numbers back here. Hopefully you can see what I'm seeing. And then I am going to put in here, I'm going to do about 10. So 5 of each. So, oops, sorry. That's what happens when you hold it. So you can see where the epoxy level's at right here. It's almost to 7.5. So I'm going to measure out my B. Sorry, this is going to move around. I'm going to measure out my part B to the same height on this little cup. Okay, so here we go. So it's definitely at 5. It's a little over 5, so I'm going to give it a little bit more. And now it's too much. You can see that it's at, move this one out of the way, maybe you can see better. It's at 7.5 right now. So I'm going to put a little bit more A in. I always pour my A first. I put it in the front cup so I can remember which cup has what in it. This is KS Resin that I'm using. It's a 1-to-1 ratio. 1 part A, 1 part B. And that looks pretty close. Right there. All right. So I've always measured this way. I've never had a problem with my epoxy not setting up or anything. This is the epoxy I use. You get an amazing shine. Let me show you this coaster that I did. So these are the coasters I did on the first video. Look at that shine. It's beautiful. Yep. So, yep. Those don't get a second coat because they turned out just fine. So I'm going to mix this up. I'm going to have to put you on the tripod while I'm mixing. So hold on. All right. So here we go. We're going to put part A and B together in my bowl right here. My little bowl. Scrape the edges really well. You should always wear gloves, which I don't have on, and a respirator air mask, which I have not been able to purchase because of COVID, but I will be getting one as soon as they're all back in stock again, and I can pick one out. All right, that looks pretty good. Put my gloves on real quick. All right, time for part B. And I'm doing this on a silicone mat. I also have parchment paper down, which has a coat of silicone on it to protect my table. My table isn't that great, but it's a really easy way to clean up is if you have silicone mats or something under your silicone mats, because if you're working with glitter and epoxy, you're going to want to try to clean it up and keep it as clean as possible, because glitter gets everywhere. My first project when I started tumblers was a watermelon cup, and I got this awesome red glitter from Walmart, and it was beautiful on the cup, and it was just a wine glass. It wasn't an actual stainless steel tumbler. It was just a wine glass, and I did the red and the seeds on the inside of the cup and put a coat of epoxy on it, and I am still finding that red glitter. Once in a while, I will find it in my mixing cup because it just gets everywhere. Okay, so now I have both of them in here, both A and B. I'm going to mix it up really well, scrape your edges. And I don't know if you can see that it's getting cloudy. I don't know if you can see that, but anyways, it'll get cloudy, and you just keep mixing until it gets clear. And I'm mixing up a really small amount because I'm just doing the tops of these two coasters, and then whatever I have left over I'm gonna stick in a mold. So I just wanted to show people how easy it is to mix this epoxy up. So I'm gonna mix it until it's clear. It does have air bubbles in it, which you can probably see that. You can see the air bubbles in there. It's almost clear. Scrape it, scrape the edges. Make sure you have all the edges have been scraped. Get it all scraped. And I'm using a silicone brush from the Dollar Tree or the dollar store. I believe it was the Dollar Tree. Okay, so there's quite a few air bubbles in here, which you can probably see. But it is clear now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to scrape this edge one more time just to make sure I got it. I'm going to hit this with a heat gun. I'm just using Wagner heat gun to pop some of the air bubbles. You want to be careful. I have a silicone bowl here. It will melt if you leave the heat on it too long. But it's really easy to clean up epoxy off of silicone. So hit it one more time. Alright. So my silicone mats I just got off of Amazon. I am looking to get big table size mats, and hopefully I will have a discount code for you guys when I get those. We'll have to wait and see. I should have a discount code for the KS Resin down in the description, so check out down there. If you're interested in anything that I epoxy or paint, because I will be doing Dutch pour painting in the future, you can email me reference the video. This will be video number 1, how to mix and apply resin. So I'm gonna check my bowl here. I see a hair, so I'm gonna get that out. There's a hair right there. So there we go. All right. So I'm gonna do a pretty thin coat, and I don't want it going over the edges because I got the edges pretty good. Well, except for where I missed, I got the edges pretty good. So I'm gonna take my silicone brush and I'm just gonna spread this epoxy around to the edges. It is self-leveling. It's pretty forgiving, this epoxy, and I have another hair right there. This epoxy is very forgiving. You have a 45-minute work time. The only way you can keep from getting any dust particles or hairs in it is to pretty much work in a clean room, which I don't have. Another hair right there. There we go. All right. So I already did the edges. I want to make sure this spot over here is covered because that's where I had something fall in my epoxy, and I tried to get it out before it set up, and it had already set up too much and left a big crater in my epoxy. So and also if you get it on your hands or anything, and I just dripped, you can use, I use diaper wipes to get it off if you spill anywhere. All right, so that coaster's done. We're gonna set him aside. This is number 2, and I did prep these before I put the first coat of epoxy on. I was taking it off when I noticed this one needed a little bit more epoxy right there on the edge. So I just left one on. The other one does have it on. Hopefully at the end of the video I will just add on quick, once these are cured, how to take that tape off, which is really easy. I mean, it just came right off. All right, so we're gonna get the epoxy on this one, and then I'm gonna show you what I do with extra leftover epoxy. I try to do several things at one time. When I was first doing this, I had 4 coasters to do, and then I was going to make molds, use my molds and make magnets. Or I have several molds. I mean, you can use any mold you want, as long as it's shiny, because if it's not shiny, your epoxy item will not come out shiny. So I'm just making sure I've got these edges because I missed it on this one the first time. So there we go. All right. And I don't think I hit my other one with a heat gun. I'm gonna hit this one. I'm using the heat gun just to pop the air bubbles. Pop any air bubbles. All right. A drip right there. And I'm gonna just double check to make sure I got all the edges, which it looks like I did. I don't know what that is right there. We'll just put a drop on there. All right, so that's done. I'm gonna set that out of the way. And here is my magnet mold, and it's not super clean because I just basically put leftover epoxy in it. So it's gonna have glitter. I have these little silicone bowls that I got off of Amazon. They also have glitter in it. You can wash these with Dawn dish soap to try to get that glitter off. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Depends on how long you want to continue to wash them. Alright, we're going to use this glitter, Cherry Blossom. It's a pretty glitter. So usually I take, because I don't want all of my epoxy the same glitter color, I would normally put it in this little bowl and mix it up. But since I don't have very much in here, I don't have a lot of epoxy in here, I am just going to go ahead and put the glitter in my big bowl, and then I'll have to make sure to wash it with Dawn. So I am going to pour some glitter in here. I'm going to stir it up. You can use fine glitter or you can use chunky. It doesn't matter. The chunky does tend to sink when you put them in molds. So this is pretty. It has some green and blue reflecting in there. It's very pretty. All right, so then you just pick one of these. I'm gonna do this one right here. It doesn't have anything in it. Tried to clean this out, but my mold, it looks like some of my leftover epoxy still got in there. So I'm just gonna scrape the edges and get it all out and put it in this little cavity here. Ooh, it's so pretty. All right, so last little bit right there. I am going to heat this up a little bit. You have to be really careful because this mold is silicone, but it's not very thick, and it's not very heavy. So you want to be careful that you don't burn it, because then you would have epoxy everywhere. All right, I'm going to move that out of the way, and I might hit that with a heat gun again once the bubbles pop up to the top. I'm going to clean my brush off with a diaper wipe. Just like that. And I will probably wash this off in the sink with some Dawn, just to make sure I get all the little specks of glitter off of it. Because my next project is a Dutch pour with acrylic paint, and I don't want glitter in my epoxy. So, and I do the same thing with the bowl. I'm just gonna take this diaper wipe and I'm gonna clean it out just like this. Super easy, nothing to be intimidated about. Just clean it up. All right, there it is. It's clean. All right, that's it. I'm gonna take this bowl and wash it in the sink with some Dawn dish soap to get all the glitter out of it. So that's it for this video. I hope you liked it. Please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so you know when I post a new video. And I'm hoping to put out videos every couple days, but we'll just have to see how it goes. All right, thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.